Hi there, welcome back. So in today's video we're going to use this lovely bowl mould, some beautiful silver glitter and some of these lovely inks. Now that's white, I think we've got, oh yes, violet, fuchsia and pink. And obviously we're going to be using some resin. Which, I might also use a couple of greens, although I'm not 100% certain on that because I couldn't quite make up my mind. So what you see me doing here now is I've got the mould, I've taken the caps off those lovely little inks that I showed you previously, and I'm just carefully doing some drops of the ink, or the coloured ink pigments, onto the surface of the mould. Now there's no resin on this currently at all. And there we go. I'm just repeating the process, slightly sped up for you because it takes a little while, using all the different colours. Now beware of using the white because it does act as what we call a sinker, so it will sink and push other colours down towards the bottom of the mould and so on. Well, you'll see what I mean a bit further along. So here we go. I've mixed up some resin. It's Ghoul resin, 1:1 mixing ratio. And just going to literally pour some of the resin in. Can you see what it's done? Can you see the effect it has? It pushes the coloured pigments out through the resin, down through to the rest of the mould, down to the sides of the mould. And then all I'm doing now is repeating the process. Don't forget, this has been sped up, otherwise we'd have a very long video. Just repeating it. Going to pour some more resin, some more clear resin onto it in a moment. Here we go. And it's going to do the same thing again. It's pushing those colours away from the centre of the mould, down the sides of it. And although you can't see it, creating a really, really lovely pattern. There we go. Just tidying up that cup of resin there so it doesn't drip everywhere. And again, just going to repeat the process. So it's quite simple to do. You can use multiple colours like I am. You could use various shades of pinks, various shades of blues. Completely up to you. You could use just one colour. You know, it's your choice. The world is your oyster, as they say. There we go. And then just emptying the rest of that resin in there. Almost all of the resin. And as you can see, it's pushed those colours away again from the top of the mould down out to the sides, out to the edges, and then down to the sides. And then again, just repeating again. Lots of repetition in this particular process. This was the first time I'd done this, so it was very much on a wing and a prayer. And putting the colours on in no particular pattern or order or placement. There are a few things I'd learned from this, and that is on this particular step now, I wouldn't use the white, because it did sink and you can see it in the finished piece. So I have to do a little thinking on my feet bit and correct it. But I did really enjoy doing this. So here we go. Just taking a cocktail stick or a kebab skewer stick and just trying to get the lovely colours, the lovely pigments to sort of mould through into the resin a bit better. Now this is the following day. So everything's cured. Just demoulding it. The mould comes away nice and easy, but can you see the white? I mean, it all looks lovely. It's cured lovely. There's no bubbles, holes or anything like that. There we go. But you see those white drops? Yeah. Was really unhappy with that. This is me just trying to think of ways of how can I correct that? How can I make this look beautiful? Because the outside of the mould was what I want, on the bottom was what I wanted the inside to look like as well. So I thought, do I use a temporary tattoo? Do I use some of these lovely flowers that we've made from previous leftover resin? You know, what on earth am I going to do? And then I thought, do you know what? Let's just repeat the process. Let's just do it again. So got the inks back, got some resin made up, poured some resin in first this time, because I don't want to push the colours of the inks out to the sides of the bowl. I want to just try and incorporate them. I'm just trying to hide those white splodges that I've got. So I've poured a small amount of resin into the base of the bowl and I'm just tilting it so that the resin moves all the way to the sides. There we go. Just coming all the way down there. You might be able to see it. It's just picking up slightly in the reflection of the camera. There we go. So once I was happy with that, again, it only needs to be a very, like, couple of millimeters thickness. I then started to drop the colours of inks into it again. So again, in no particular order or placement or fashion, just dropped in those colours. There we go. So at this point, I was just trying to keep everything crossed that this would work and it would disguise those white blobs that you can currently see. There we go. I think that's the final colour. Now, it did eventually do what I wanted it to do. Now, I can't believe I used the white again. Laura, when will you learn? But it's okay. All comes off well at the end. You'll see. So here we go. I'm going back in with this kebab skewer, just trying to mix the colours a little bit. The only problem with this is the finished bit does look a little bit dark on the inside, but I actually think, you know, I've rescued it and it looks good. I was pleased with everything else and the way it turned out. So there we go. So as you can see, it has done quite a good job of disguising it. So now I'm just about to spray it. Sprayed it with some isopropyl alcohol and it did. It's a little bit strange. It did almost have the effect of putting silicone in paint, acrylic paint, if you've ever done that, and it brought up a few little cells, but that was fine. Now I had some leftover resin, so I got these 2 coaster molds that you can see, and I thought I'm going to make a couple of coasters to match the bowl. So repeated the process that I had done with the bowl. There's no resin in these currently. Just literally dripping them. For some reason they're sort of spurting everywhere. Oh, I don't know. But, yep, just hoping here that I wasn't putting too much colour in. Again, it's up to you what colours you use, what brands you use. Everything that we have used in this video will be linked in the description box below, along with any discount codes, should we have any. And here we go. Going in with the, oh, sorry, a little bit of dodgy camera work there. Going in with the resin, just pouring it straight into the middle of the mold. Now you can just top it up all the way to the top, but I didn't think I'd got enough, so I poured in as much resin as I could. I just split it between the 2 coasters, the 2 coaster molds. There we go. See, it's done exactly the same as what it did with the bowl. It's pushed those colours, those pigments out to the sides of the mold, and then they've almost spread back in and started to mix together. Now these are lovely. Apart from the fact that not all the colours covering the mould. So in I go again with the kebab skewer, trying to make some little pretty patterns, little squiggles and wiggles, squiggles and wiggles, just trying to get the resin to mix in. There we go. Look at that one, that looks a little bit like a tree branch there. So yes, just again squiggling and wiggling that cocktail stick around. Now these are nowhere near the top of the mould, so I know that at some point I am going to have to make up some more resin, but because I was quite happy with the result I'd got so far, I left them to cure along with the bowl, which is the close-up that you're getting now. Look at that. There we go. So they did all mix very well in the end. Came off rather sort of more on the blue side than the pink side, but that's absolutely okay. So this is then another 24 hours later. The resin is cured. Now, what would this video be if it didn't have a little bit of glitter in it? Knowing what our videos are normally like, and if you don't, why not check out our playlist, our how to make playlist, and have a look. We're fans of glitter on this channel. So I've just added some of the ultrafine silver glitter there, only a little bit, to the resin. I know the resin looks cloudy, but to be honest, I was just hoping that it would cure clearly enough. But you can see tiny bit of sparkle there that the beautiful silver glitter is creating. Looks a little bit space-like, sort of, I suppose. Yeah, a little bit like that. I think they look lovely. I mean, the effects that again, as I said, it did cure more on the blue side than the pink side, but I actually quite like them, and they do go very well with the bowl. So there we go, just topping it up to the top of the very top of the mould. There we go. Can you see it glistening? Like the night sky, perhaps. Definitely very much. That's it. That's the word I'm looking for. Like a galaxy almost. All you'd need is a few little planets, and you could almost be there in space. Right. So just getting out all of the rest of the resin into this mould. There we go. I did give them a little bit of a spritz with some isopropyl alcohol, and then I put them to one side to leave them to cure. So this is the following day. This is the full cure. Now look at that effect. I just love the way this glitter glistens. Just catches the light. And because it's 2 pours into this one mould, it's almost giving it a bit of a 3D effect, perhaps. We've got a little bit of clean up there to do with a tiny bit of over pour, but you know, all looking good. You can see the division there from the two. Now look at that. Now I rather like that on the coasters, that effect with the white blobby bits. But I didn't like it on the bowl, I'm afraid. And here we go with the other one. Look at that. See, with resin, you're never going to get 2 things exactly the same, no matter how you try. It's unpredictable. It will do its own thing. You can give it guidance. You can try and get it to do what you want it to do, but then you can get this kind of effect. That looks almost a bit like a very exotic marbles. Or marble colour to me. And then this side again, we've got that galaxy themed look. So in effect, you've got coasters here that could be used either way. And here we are. There's the bowl, all completely cured. Now I'm not very happy with the top of the bowl still, so I've decided I'm going to edge the coasters with this decor colour, silver chrome colour pen, and I'm also going to do the top of the bowl. So that's how they tie together. So there we go, the top's off, and I've given it a couple of little squidges. I've just pressed it down, in other words, a couple of times on a piece of paper, and that gets the paint to flow through to the nib. Just go a bit careful that you don't overdo that, because it might run and off into areas on the project that you don't want it to be in. So there you go, you can see what I'm doing. Now you may need to do another coat just to completely cover the depth of the side of the coaster. It all depends on the depth of the coasters that you're doing. So this mould is quite deep, so I did go back and actually just fill in all the little areas there, as you can see, just going carefully as possible to make sure it doesn't run or drop down where you don't want it to. But the overall effect with this Deco silver pen is really, really good. So here I go with the bowl, and I'm just going to go do exactly the same process and go around the top of the rim edge, there we go, of the bowl. Now again, go careful, you don't want it dripping down the sides of the bowl, because otherwise you're going to have a bit of a messy cleanup job to deal with. If that does happen, go straight away with some isopropyl alcohol and a wet wipe, some kitchen towel, and clean it up, because once this kind of deco pen has dried onto this resin, it is quite difficult to remove it. Now this next bit is just sped up. This is just me doing a little bit more of the bowl. There we go. Which reminds me, I must order some more of this silver deco pen. It's one of my favourite ones. In fact, it's my all-time favourite one. I've tried pens by other makes and brands and so on, and they just don't quite shape up to this particular brand. But there you go. There you can see the overall effect. There we are. I think that just finishes these 2 pieces off nicely. So here we are at the final shot now. A view of these beautiful coasters. Very much a galaxy sort of theme on that side. And there we go. There's the reverse side with the other coaster. Looking more like marble, I think, perhaps. An exotic type of marble. And there we are with the silver, lovely silver chrome finishing on the edges. And here's the bowl as well. I really enjoyed doing this video. I hope you've enjoyed watching. Thanks ever so much for watching with us, and if you've joined us in the live chat, thank you. Always nice to get in touch with our subscribers. Thanks for liking, sharing and subscribing, and we'll see you again in a few days. Bye.